Welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you important information regarding nosebleeds. Do you know what to do when a child in your facility has a nose bleed? This particular segment is going to be sharing, information about that and to help educate you as a parent, provider, professional on how to handle this particular type of emergencies. Now, nosebleeds can occur at any moment, whether the child has a medical condition that causes nosebleeds or whether the child is on the playground or within your center, they're grappling on the floor, wrestling with one another, and someone accidentally, hit the other child in the nose to where it starts to bleed. Do you know how to handle that? So we're going to get into some tips, some very important tips on how to stop a nosebleed, because if you do not, within a reasonable amount of time, it can cause further injury or further damage to the child. Stay calm. That's the first step. As child care providers, no matter who you are, male, female, female, male, you are to remain calm. Because when you are calm, you're practicing that calmness, you're in control, and it helps you to think clearly and more effectively on how to help that child. Because the child is going to be frantic. They see blood, they're going to be coming to you, very emotional and upset and wondering what's going on. And you want to keep that child calm as well as the other precious little ones that's in your care. Have your child sit upright. That's the first step. Have your child sit upright in a chair or in your lap and tilt the child slightly forward. You don't want to tilt the child back because the blood, one thing about blood, as you may know, is that it has clotting factors. It clots, the long and the short of it, and you want to make sure that there's no clotting in that child's throat that can cause an obstructed airway. So it's very important to keep the child leaning forward and, slightly tilted forward in a chair. Next particular point that I want to emphasize is do not, can you say do not? Do not have your child lean back. More emphasis. You don't want to do that. Pertaining to what has already been mentioned, you don't want the child to choke by blood, formulating and clotting in the back of the throat. It can cause gagging, choking, so be careful of that. Next point, point number 4, that is, you gently pinch a part of the child's nose, gently, people. Don't wring the child's nose off. With a clean washcloth. Do you have anything around? Just look around in your daycare at this particular moment. Do you have things in place to where if a child has a nosebleed, you go over there, you implement these particular steps so far, and get a clean washcloth, wet, and just gently pinch that child's nose with to stop the nosebleed. Something to think about. Now, these particular broadcasts are dedicated to helping you get organized and prepared to implement first response techniques as needed when they occur at your facility. Whether you have a center or group child care home, these particular principles and emergency techniques and plans that I'm sharing with you today at the request of Mrs. Porter, who is an outstanding provider, they can help you during these particular emergencies that can occur at your facility. Do you know the length of time that you should keep pressure on that particular child's nose? Is it 1 minute? Is it 3 minutes? Is it 20 minutes? Well, the answer to that question is up to 10 minutes, because it takes the body time depending on whether or not that child has a medical condition that's causing nosebleeds or whether another child punched that child in the nose. You are to hold it for a certain length of time, 10 minutes minimum. I know there may be a lot of opinions about that particular time, but you want to ensure that you hold that child's nose long enough to where the bleeding stops. Next point, have your child relax, and that can be a challenge, people. A bleeding child's nose usually asking me to help that child relax. Are you kidding? Well, yeah, I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Yes, that is something that you must do. You must talk to that child. Everything is going to be okay, Tyler. Your nose is going to stop bleeding. This is something that, it happens, can happen at times. And you want to, everything is going to be all right. You're going to be okay, all right? And that child may respond, okay, or they may not say anything. But the main point in that example is to make sure that you're calm, you're speaking nicely to that child, you're speaking in a calm voice, you don't have any type of fear or showing any type of negative emotion on your face, a chaotic emotion on your face, because that can incite the child or excite the child to, get upset. You want to remain calm. Now, 911 should always be at the top of the list when it concerns protecting those babies. If the bleeding doesn't stop after a certain time, within this process, there's a lot of things that are happening. Whether you're contacting the child's parents or parent or guardian, you're contacting, the people who you need to contact that are caregivers for these children, or for that particular child, and keeping them informed of what's happening. It's very important, as a side note, to make sure that you have a list of numbers, reachable numbers, because a lot of times as child care providers, you've come across situations to where, they, confidently give you the number 555-5555, which is not all fives, but I'm just not throwing any numbers out there because it may be someone's telephone number, and I don't want to hear any type of, you gave my number out on your broadcast and people are calling me and I got marketers and, anyway. You can't reach them. You can't reach that person. They gave you 50 numbers and none of them work when you call them. And but you want to have a reachable number. You want to emphasize to that parent or guardian, now, is this number reachable? I need to contact you. Do everything you need to do as a business professional to where you can reach that person in case of an emergency. Okay. Dial 911 if the bleeding doesn't stop. Okay. Period. If it's out of control, again, let's emphasize, bleeding profusely, call 911. Get that child to the medical help that they need. If you're by a local hospital, if you're not by a local hospital, if you're thinking that it's an emergency, you get that child where they need to go, which is to the emergency room, to where they can get the proper help that they need from the health professionals. And another side note that I want to share with you before the conclusion of this particular broadcast, take a look around. Where are your gloves located? Do you know where they are in your facility? Well, if you don't, you need to. If you don't have any gloves, there are many different type of shopping centers to where you can purchase gloves from. Walmart is a #1 location. You got other places like Walgreens and CVS and Target and these other locations to where you can purchase gloves. If you don't want to order from those locations, which there are outstanding locations, you can order from what? Amazon. You're right. You can order through Amazon. When to seek medical emergency. As we bring it home here with more emphasis, when to seek emergency care. Well, the answer to that question is what? When the bleeding doesn't stop. There you go. When the bleeding does not stop. there's a lot of different things that you can do as professionals to continue to educate yourself on this particular segment, pertaining to this particular segment regarding nosebleeds. And keep yourself educated in those areas. Keep yourself prepared, because preparation is key. Knowing how to implement first responder techniques within your facility to protect your children. Well, again, thanks for watching, and that concludes this particular segment. Keep watching, because we have many more great things in store regarding educating you as child care providers. Bye-bye.